I just got them a couple hours ago in the mail, and they came packaged, sealed in plastic, I guess to keep them moist. But they were cut just before they were shipped, so I didn't cut them any further, but I took a box cutter knife and I made 3 lines down here, so that hopefully will help with the rooting hormone. So this is Dip and Grow, and I put the concentrate in the bottom and I filled it up to the 20 times, which is supposed to be for hardwood cuttings. So I've got 3-gallon pots here that these are all going to go in. These are the 5 fig cuttings. I see the very tip on some of these, like here, is kind of a light green color. It means it's not dying. Also, the cutting itself looks like some green in all 5 of them. So they're not dying yet, but they're not opening. The leaves aren't budding out, and so I don't know if roots are establishing yet. This is what the figs look like today. The cuttings, you can see this one's obviously growing. If you look closer over here, you got a bud coming out over here, and this one right here, if you look down here, is also growing. So this is a 258, an Italian 258. I want that one to grow badly. I don't want it to die. It's one of my favorite that I'm looking forward to. I've not tried figs at all. Here's another one. This one is, what is this? Black Madeira KK. This is also one I ordered a little bit later, a couple weeks later, from a different company. And this is one I really want to grow out as well. And it's not exactly showing signs, but it's got some green color to it still. So that's just an update on what the figs look like today. We're heading on well, I wouldn't say usual, but a popular spring vacation of ours here. Tomorrow we leave, actually. And so these figs are going to be put in that tote there and carried with us, because we're going to be gone, if you include the travel time, about 3 weeks. So we're back from Port Aransas, and these figs need to be potted into larger containers. All the figs are planted up now. Yeah, these are starting to look good too. These are new leaves coming on since I put them in the pot here. So it appears like it's going to be a pretty good deal. Let's get shade. I may move them into sunny or partly sunny later on after they establish good growth. I wanted to give you an update on my blackberries. I moved them from over there by the deck that gets all the shade to over here to get them used to the sun. And now that we're in the first week of May, we're actually at the very beginning of the second week of May. I think today's the 8th or 9th. These are going to probably start taking off. That's my hope anyway. Just to show you the growth compared to about a month ago was the last time I did this. And we're just going to keep an eye on it. I need to clip the tomatoes up to the bamboo posts there, stakes. This side over here you can kind of see some considerable growth. And I did lose one here, the one on the very end there, called Senora or something to that effect. So that's where we're sitting on 2 June. I had figs over there in the same area as the avocado right there, but I moved them over here because you can see they're still getting sun over there, and about midday this starts getting shade here, and in the afternoons the figs are wilting pretty good. They don't have a lot of soil base in these containers here, these 10-gallon grow bags, so I moved them over here and they're doing 100% better. I did put them in 10-gallon grow bags. You can probably see them behind me here, and I'm just having to water every day, and I think they're a little bit too small now for the size of the plant. So that once I put these figs into the pots that I'm going to put them into, they're going to stay there for a number of years, probably somewhere between 3 and 5 years till they're well established, and I know that there's not going to be a lot of dieback, or at least I'll know which ones do die back and be able to take it up, because ideally I'd rather the figs be in the ground than pots, but even more than that, I don't want all my figs to die. So this is the way I'm going to go about it. The pots that they're in now are too small, and they're fabric pots, so they're certainly evaporating and drying out more. By the end of the day, they're wilting a little bit. I moved them from a sunny spot over here. I get about 1 o'clock on, it's shaded, and that's helped, but it's not a fix. So I went to my Farmers Association because I was told by our feed store that they may have some of these cattle containers. These are food grade, and they've had cattle nutrient in there, fattener, either some kind of salts or some sugar or something. Anyway, it fattens cattle. And once they're done, the Farmers Association buys these back, probably really cheaply, or gives some kind of discount to the farmers. I'm not exactly sure. But either way, I bought 10 of these and they were $10 a piece. And so I may continue to do that. I would have preferred that they were dark, but the best ones they had were these clear ones, and I'm hoping that'll work out just fine. So I don't know how much mix this will hold. So I've got a 5-gallon bucket here, and I'm going to fill it with some aged rice hulls, which is going to be part of the mix. That's going to backfill these from the smaller 20-gallon container or 10-gallon containers here. I suspect they're about 25 gallons, but I won't know for sure. But filling the rice hulls in here and then dumping it in this will tell me however many buckets I fill, and that'll give me an idea, which is, it's good to know. Either way, they're going in the containers. You can see here, this is the bottom of one of them, and I took a drill bit here and I put 5 holes in here in these 5 locations that thick, and that should hopefully provide enough drainage. But if it doesn't, then once they're built, I can drill on the side here lower, or once they're planted, I mean. So this is what it looks like on the inside. And now I'm going to take the 5-gallon container right there, and we're going to see how much this will hold. Out there near my carport is the remaining of my big shipment of aged rice hulls, and that's what I'm using. This is 1. This is 2. Now I'm going to switch to peat moss. Peat. That's 3. We're getting close to the top, so I'm going to put half of a 5-gallon bucket in here of peat again, and I'm going to fill the rest up with perlite. All right, this is the bucket with combination peat and perlite. All right, so that was 4 total. 2 were aged rice hulls, 1.5 was peat, and half was perlite for 4 of these 5-gallon buckets, making 20. But I would argue that this is put in fluffy, and so the soil, once it's saturated or compacted a little bit, will hold another couple gallons. And on the bottom, it's got a number on it, something -23. So this may be actually 23 gallons. But I've got all the ingredients that I'm going to use for the mixing. Obviously, the figs in the 10-gallon grow bags have got their own mix already, so I won't need all of this for this particular one. But that's the purpose of putting it in here, is to find out how much one of these will hold, and put the mix in here that'll supplement the grow bag figs. So let me get this out of the way here. And I'm going to show you how I mix here. I've mentioned it a few times here. This is much easier, although this is a lot. But this is much easier than using a some kind of implement like a fork or a shovel. To me, I think it is. So this is all I do. Put my hands in different locations and I twist. I've showed this many times. And this is a huge saver for me. This mix is pretty bone dry, so we'll have to water the figs in nicely as we go. All right, that'll do, pig. Although this container is taller than this one, but I want to get an idea, so I'm putting it in here because I want to plant it at a similar depth that it was in this pot, because I have shoots growing off that I need to do the air layering with. And so it looks like I need to come up about, I don't know, a third of the pot, and I can adjust it a little bit. So I'm going to take it back out and add the mix. All right, I've checked, I've put the plant back in. I think it's about where it needs to be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to saturate this mix, because I want it to be completely thoroughly wet. Before we put the fig in. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to strip it off easily. I anticipate I won't be able to, so I brought some scissors. I'm going to sacrifice the pots for this transfer, so I'm going to cut them off. But first I need to get the tag out. This is Black Madeira KK, and this is my prized fig. Not that I've ever tried any of these figs, but this is the one that's most coveted in a lot of places, is Black Madeira. And so I want to take that tag out so I can put it back into the top, and then I'm going to cut this out. And got the scissors up here. And so it should be, I won't say root bound, but it shouldn't come apart too easily. I mean, too readily. It should be, yeah, should work out just fine. Now I'm going to add some more to this, and some of the mix here. I'll probably do it by hand like this, pack it in with my fist, and just kind of rotate the pot around. And I guess I'm going to do it in front of you since that's what's happening. And I'll do one as an example of what I'm doing, because I'm kind of figuring this out as I go. I think already it's heavy. Just turning it. I end up using that whole wheelbarrow full for one, which I guess that's good in a way, because I won't have to, it'll survive in here better if it's got plenty of soil. And I'll use that dolly to maneuver it around, because this is going to be way too heavy for one person to lift, even though it's supposedly only about 23 gallons. Here we go. Now I'm going to water it in and fill in the spots a little bit. I need to do that little bit of maneuvering here on camera. I'm going to finish watering this in. And while it's draining, I'm going to go get the air layering Ziploc bag that I'm going to use, that technique. And we're going to fix it to this one, and then in a month or so when this one gets longer, I'll use that one. There's going to be two here that I could do. One's going to be for my sister who's having a house being built, and the other one's going to be the one I'm going to put in the ground. I have removed the leaves here because this is where I'm going to put it. Probably put it closer to here than down here so that it can sit in the pot like that. And this is a Ziploc bag method. I think that's what they call it. Anyway, it's one of these zip to lock type. And I'm going to take and cut it in half like they show in videos I've seen. Now I've bought those air layering kits, the ones like that come with little black balls, and I tried that and I didn't have favor with it. It's solid black, and I think if I would have left them for another month they probably would have rooted. But one of the benefits of doing it with this is that you can see if it's rooted or not. So I'm going to put them around the bag, and then I'm going to use the zip tie here to secure them. Now this particular type of zip tie has a little thing on the end here where you can release the zip tie. So I'm going to put one on here, just prepare it for the bag, and we'll just let it ride down the bottom there. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to put this in the soil like this, just like they show online, and I'm going to mash it together thoroughly to help create a seal. And I'm going to use the zip tie here, which is a little harder to get on than I anticipated, but still pretty not bad. And I'm going to zip tie 3 of them. As I'm talking, I'm trying to do this on here. So I'm going to take another one. That one's holding it good enough for now. I'm going to take another one, and we got to mash it in some so that I can get it around. And I think I got my tongue sticking out. I tend to do that whenever I'm doing something, some work. I stick my tongue out. So I'm going to just, oh, that one broke. I'll get another one. But anyway, I'll put this one on, and we'll mash it around. And the fact that I'm having to mash it is good because I'll know it's solid against it. Now, I watched a YouTuber named Ross Randy. He seems to be one of the more or less experts in figs, and he did the soft cuttings like this. Now this is first year stuff here that I'm doing this on, and he didn't have to scrape it at all in that one video I watched. So I'm not going to scrape it. I am going to get another zip tie. I think this is probably good with 2, but I'm going to get another one and replace this with it, and just for extra measure. And then I'm just going to leave it uncovered like this. I may put something just kind of laying over the top a little bit. We'll see. I might not. But anyway, it's resting on the ground here, and the tip of the fig leaf here, let me get here, is out of the pot, and it's growing up, so it's not directly on the ground. That's exactly the way I want it. And then when this one gets bigger, I'll do this one the same way, but it has to get a good bit bigger. The big thing is I don't want to break it loose from here. I want it to provide everything it needs, and then I want it to start rooting in here. Now I will probably just dump some water over top of her, just rinse it, and maybe some will leak in here and help keep it moist, but I probably don't even need to do that. I took it from here and brought it over here. This is going to be more or less its final resting place, and it is about 3 between 2 and 3. I'm not exactly sure, but you can see some sun coming here. Once it gets down behind the house there, this will be shaded, and that's going to be really important, I think, to nursing these a little bit. But it's going to have a lot of sun, morning sun especially, to help these figs grow. I've got halfway done, 5 out of 10. You'll notice there's some foil there. I did start with the shade cloth, but that one's a little high, and then I had to do this one here, which is up really high, so I decided to break out the foil. Some suggest that, and it's just to keep the sun off. I should be able to easily remove this and make sure that it's a little bit damp. So I've got that one, and that one. 3 of the 5 are being air layered, and one of my favorites, the Italian 258, didn't have any branching, so I couldn't air layer it this year. Anyway, I'll get to it. 5 out of 10 done, and yeah, it was a productive day. I have finished up the 10 pots. 9 of them are fig and 1 is an avocado. And now I need to prune them. And I have read and watched videos on a lot of ways to prune. And I've decided on one I think it'd be the best option for growing in these large containers. And that essentially is to grow one long stem all year long and prune any side shoots off. Now there are a couple that I'm doing air layering on for my sisters. One is having a house built and the other one's moving into a pre-built house, and they're both doing it moving from Texas to Mississippi. And so I want to get them a fig tree as a housewarming party. So I'm going to air layer a couple of these, but for the rest of them I'm going to cut off the extra branching. Like this one here, you can see is quite long. I'm going to go ahead and take that one off, remove it, and I'm going to leave this one down here low because I'm going to air layer this particular one. But I'm going to take this one off here, right here, off that tree, and then the one over here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because based on what I saw, I want to get this trunk right here the thickest possible all the way up, because I want a really thick, unmoving base to start the scaffolding on next year. So that's what I'm going to do with all these. I'm going to air layer a few of these, but the primary focus and growth I want into the main trunk here. I want it to get as fat as possible this first year. Now I did a video where I pinched the grapes, and what pinching the top does, like if I were to come up here and just snap that off, what that does is it causes all new growth all up and down the line here, and all of that energy is into new growth, trying to have the plant figure out, well, it just creates a lot more growth. There's no point in saying why. But I don't want that. I want it to continue to develop the main branch. But like I said, there's a lot of people that advocate right now topping this and getting all the scaffolding now. And I think what that's going to do is that's going to make a really weak tree. And so I want to focus on the scaffolding next year. We got a good rain yesterday and some this morning. I want to go over these figs one last time and we'll wrap up the video here. I just put on some tags here. These little tags are ones I got off of Amazon. You see it's Black Mission, or Black Madeira rather. And I've got all 9 tagged. And I did it with that. Those are aluminum tags. And that way they don't get erased by the sun or, you know, something else blown away. Who knows? But anyway, they're affixed to the trees, and I want to go over each of these varieties real quick. Just talk about them in the sense that some were tissue cultures and some were cuttings that are rooted. So and then I wanted to talk about if they're fruiting or not. The first one is Black Madeira. It's this one here. It is kind of beginning to fruit. They're all, not all kind of beginning to fruit, but their fruiting is a little sporadic and not uneven. This one here is Italian 258. I got my little cheat sheet here. That's also a cutting, and it's got a couple, it's got 1 fig on it there. This one is Adriatic JH. Adriatic JH, I've got 2 of these, one here, one in the end. That's a cutting, and it's the one of the more aggressive ones that's growing some figs. Cadota. Cadota is a tissue culture, and I don't see any figlets. Is that the right word? Figlet? Figs on it. We got a Violet de Bordeaux, yep. That's got the thickest trunk on it so far, and that one was a tissue culture. It's a nice looking tree, but I don't see any fruit on it either. I expect it next year. This one is a LSU purple. LSU purple is also a tissue culture, and I don't see any figs on it. This one is Black Mission, also a tissue culture. No figs on it. The tissue cultures did have extra branching on them, so I had to cut them back. This is Chicago Hardy. Chicago Hardy is a tissue culture, and no figs on that. And another Adriatic JH is trying to produce a little bit of figs here. And so that's it. None of the tissue cultures, it seems, I kind of did this in real time. I'm finding out for myself as well. None of the tissue cultures are producing figs yet, but a few of the cuttings, a couple of the cuttings are. So that's it. Now I'm going to get my finger out of the camera first, but I'm going to do a follow-up video on them when I prune them back and create the scaffolding branching over the winter probably, and then I'll bring you back when spring comes and they start leafing out and growing and all that sort of thing. But this is enough for this video. This carries you all the way from the very beginning, from when I got them in the mail to this point, which is pretty amazing for me, first year growing. So if you like the video, please share the video, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it if you subscribe, help me grow my channel. If you want to chat, just drop a note in the comments. I love talking to you guys. This is Brent. We'll see you in the next video.
How long do we gotta stay here for people we don't know and want lives? All of the clothes are designer, fast cars and